49er faithful and fans of the Niner Station, guess what? It's time to move on from a 20-17 loss against the Seahawks and talk about our upcoming game against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Fields. Guys, Mark, you've been there before. Ryan, what do you guys think about this upcoming game?
We're officially in must-win territory, and here we are facing Green Bay. Excited to get into it with you two boys. And Mark, excited to hear your take since you've actually been there in Lambeau before. So let's get into it.
What's up, guys? Yeah, and the Niners are heading to the mecca of football, you could call it, Green Bay, Wisconsin, to take on the Packers in a must-win game. It's a classic rivalry, and yes, I actually have been there twice. I went back when we were in college, and then I went back and we were in the playoffs a few years back, and we had the Hufanga scoop and score for the touchdown. That place is an extremely fun place to be at. It's a historical venue. The atmosphere is great. Fans there are actually really great fans, really welcoming, and are able to talk a little smack, receive a little smack, and still be friendly. So overall, great experiences in Green Bay. I don't know if the field's going to be as friendly as the crowd is on Sunday, because the Niners are going to be playing like their backs are against the walls. And I'm excited to see what they come out and look like, because this is kind of your put up or shut up moment this year. If you're going to make a playoff push, you have to win this game. If you don't win this game, you could pretty much kiss your chances goodbye for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate to be in this situation. I don't think any of us predicted, or even any ESPN analyst predicted, that we would be at 5-5 going against Green Bay. Mark, you've been there before. You're exactly right. You've been there for the Ice Bowl when it was like snowing and Hufanga made a great play.
-2 and snowing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Now we're lucky that it's not going to be that quite cold, but it's still not going to be Bay Area weather. It's still not going to be hot like we were in Tampa. But at the same time, our team needs to be hot. We need to come out swinging in this game. And I'm really curious to see what Kyle Shanahan's going to do after he's getting all this criticism from the media. Is he going to come out and make play calls? Are we going to see the same bland offense? Are we going to see creativity? Part of that is going to be is George Kittle playing. But one thing that I am very curious to see is, can the Niners internally, as a players only meeting team, whatever you want to call it, solve the inspiration problem? Because this is exactly what you said, a must-win game. If we don't win this game, we have to go undefeated the rest of the season. But even if we do win this game, we still pretty much have to go undefeated the rest of the season to make the playoffs. So can the team bind together? Can someone be that voice of reason, that inspiration, and get the team back in the 40 way of football, where we play dominant defense, we run the ball over, 5 yards a carry, we're pounding the team, we're going against a tough defense. This is not going to be easy sledding by any means, but we're very lucky that when we go to Green Bay, it should not be snowing. So, Ryan, what do you think?
Well, I think that as much as Kyle Shanahan's been getting a lot of heat, whether you think he deserves it or not, the players got to play. The players are the ones out there on the field, and they're the ones executing. So as the week goes on, I'm really curious if we even hear what transpires, if there even is a player-only meeting, but it needs to be done. We talked about it. Richard Sherman's talked about it. Something has to happen to turn this season around, and it has to be internally. So whatever player does it or players spark it, we need to turn the season around now. And in my eyes, in the limited amount of games we have left, playing the Packers, I think this is very much a must-win game that we're going to need to bring our A game, coaching, offense, defense, special teams, because we can't go down to a fellow NFC opponent. So that's where I'm coming from. I think the players got to find it within themselves to turn it around for this game and find that fire.
The reason why this is a must-win game is because the Packers are sitting at 7-3 right now. You're at 5-5. If you lose this game, you're not going to have any type of chance of beating them for a wild card spot. So when you start looking at the big picture, yes, they need to win games for the division, but if they're going to have any chance at a wild card, they're going to have to beat this team. Because you beat this team, now you're one game back with the head-to-head tiebreaker. So if for some reason you finish in a 10-7 tie for the wild card, you have that tiebreaker. So this being an NFC game is important. I think the only two games they can lose and make the playoffs are the Dolphins and the Bills, because those are non-conference games. So, and those are two games that you technically can lose and still make the playoffs, because you're beating conference opponents that are in front of you at the moment. Because you're playing the Rams, you're playing the Lions, you're playing the Cardinals, you're playing the Packers, all of which are in front of you in the standings. So you beating those teams gives them a loss and helps you out. So it's a must-win game. They have to come out firing. And when you look at this team, they're very evenly matched. Offenses have scored 250 points this year. That's tied for 10th most in the league. So it's going to be a hard-fought game, but the Niners just need to get back to their brand of football. And so what do you guys think is going to be a key to coming out of Lambeau Field with a win, a much-needed win?
Well, I hate to say it, I'm asking a lot from this player. He's coming off of a hard family loss. But the return of Charvarius Mooney-Ward is going to be the biggest difference because we're going against a team that has an elite wide receiving core. That I know Bernardo Green is great. I know Deommodore Lenoir is a great cornerback. But if you add Charvarius Ward to that room, Charvarius Ward's going to probably be the most emotional person if he can come back, when he comes back. But I need it to be this game. We need it to be this game. We need Charvarius Ward to come back and lock down Jalen Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, whoever he's guarding. That way we can actually have a supportive DB room against we have a good quarterback in Jordan Love, right? They have good tight ends in Tucker Kraft. We're not going to win this game because Nick Bosa might not play. We're going to need our DBs to step up, and there's going to need to be turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, you name it. But Charvarius Ward is my key to winning this game. I think that if he comes back, he's going to be playing with so much emotion that if he's on the field, he's unstoppable. If he's not on the field, Deommodore Lenoir has to be that person. So between those two, or both of them combined, we need high-level production, all-pro production from our cornerback room.
I completely agree, and I think having Mooney-Ward back is going to help the defense tremendously. Not to say we don't have faith in Bernardo Green, but Charvarius Ward, he's a vet, and he's been through many battles in this league, and we can have some stability on the back end. That'll be nice. My original pick was going to be Nick Bosa or whoever was going to replace Nick Bosa on that defensive end side, because it does make a big difference, like you were saying, getting that pressure on the quarterback. But I think I'm going to take it to the other side of the ball, and I'm going to stick with George Kittle because it was pretty evident George Kittle's impact is to the offense in how we run the ball and even how we pass the ball. It cannot be understated the impact George Kittle has on this team. And if we can get him back, because he was out the last game with injury, if we can get him back, that's an instant upgrade to everything we do as an offense. And hopefully that'll help Brock Purdy as well get some more production.
Yeah, those are both good choices. Charvarius coming back is important because, like Thomas said, they have a three-headed monster at receiver. And so if you have Ward, Green, and Lenoir, now you can play Lenoir in the slot, you can play Green and Ward outside, and you kind of have those three guys to match up with their three guys, and then your safeties and Fred and D. Winters, hopefully over Devondre Campbell, will be in charge of making sure Tucker Kraft doesn't go off. And then definitely George Kittle. You could see the impact, like you said. They had to bring in Jalen Moore last week, a run blocking tight end, and it just when you see that, it's one guy you don't have to defend as a defense. There's no respect from him out of play action or any type of passing look. So having George there, you don't know what's coming. Could be run or pass. As a linebacker, you can't be as aggressive coming upfield on the snap. Those two guys are very, very key guys to us winning. For me, is going to be Leonard Floyd. Nick Bosa is not going to play. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, obviously, I don't have anything official, but based off what I saw him walking off the field, like I don't see him playing in Green Bay in cold weather. It's going to be 46 degrees at kickoff. So I don't see that happening. So Leonard Floyd, the free agent guy that we signed for this season to be a factor along with Nick Bosa, is going to have to step up at least for one game and take over, as well as your Arturo Gross-Matos. Really both free agent defensive end signings. Those to me are the keys because it doesn't matter who you have covering in the defensive backfield. If Jordan Love has 5-6 seconds to throw, then someone's going to get open. So I like both your picks, but our pass rush with our two defensive ends that we brought in from the offseason, the free agency, need to show up and combine for a few sacks and get pressure on Jordan Love.
The stat line that I had sent to you guys was broadcasted during the game, but the 49ers haven't scored a rushing touchdown without George Kittle in the game.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That is.
It's mind-blowing. And you think about it like, wait, hold on. We have CMC. We had guys like Jordan Mason. No, but without George Kittle in the game, we don't have an advantage. And like I told you, Mark, you mentioned what I had said was we brought in Jalen Moore as like an extra lineman tight end, like one of those like, hey, I'm eligible, but he's really only there to block. That still didn't make a difference. We need George Kittle back. We need George Kittle not just from a receiving standpoint, from a Kittle over the middle standpoint, but our offense cannot move the ball properly without him. I mean, it goes to say that I've always said this. The people's tight end, George Kittle, is the best tight end in the game. Not from a receiving standpoint, not from a blocking standpoint, from an all-around standpoint. George Kittle is by far, in my opinion, especially this year, the best tight end in the game. You find me another tight end that can do what George Kittle does, I'll quit sports betting. I mean, it's that simple. This guy can go out there and manhandle linebackers, defensive ends, D tackles. Like, this guy can block anyone. But when he's on the field, look what happens to our offense. We're in a close game against Seattle where it should have been a blowout. We should have blown them out at home, but we didn't. Going into Green Bay, Nick Bosa is definitely not going to play. I agree with you, Mark. I think it would be stupid to have Nick Bosa play, even though it's a must-win game. I think we 100%, like you said, it's our free agent signings, Yatir Gross-Matos, Leonard Floyd. They need to play like all-pro DNs. Otherwise, Jordan Love's sitting back in the pocket. I mean, we don't get a lot of pressure up the middle. Javon Hargraves is out. We don't have Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott, Anderson. Our rotational players are good. I mean, maybe Khalil Davis and Kalia Davis can come in and show us something, but I mean, I'm not going to rely on that as a game plan. Our corners can only cover for so long. If you've played football, you know that the longer the quarterback has to make a throw, the harder it is to defend the pass. And if we're not getting pressure if we're not getting at least pressure from one side from Nick Bosa, it's going to be tough sledding for the Niners defense. And then we're going to get into this offensive, showdown, throwdown. Like, I believe in Brock Purdy. I just don't think Brock Purdy should have to climb a hill where the defense can't stop the offense. It needs to be a competitive game. And what we're going to see on Sunday, hopefully, is Leonard Floyd has a Leonard Floyd game. 2 sacks, I would be okay with. Or I would be very happy with Leonard Floyd getting 2 sacks. But I would be okay with just pressure, right? Let our DBs, especially if Mooney Ward's back in the game, make the plays. We have Mustafa. I think Gibson might even be playing.
Yep, he's back.
I mean, Gibson's a ball hawk. We need pressure for them to do their turnover job, right? If we want to have I think another key to the game is going to be the turnover ratio. Can we have more turnovers than Green Bay? Because we're going to be at a disadvantage if we have Bosa out. So we're going to need Leonard Floyd to do Leonard Floyd things. Leonard Floyd is a 10 to 12 sack player the last 4 years. But on the Niners, he's not doing that. So we need Leonard Floyd to do what we brought him in to do, to be that pass rusher, to be that pressure enabler. So that way our DBs can do the same thing on the backside and make plays, because it's going to be a tough game, guys. I mean, they have a good running game too with Josh Jacobs. I think their rookie running back, Marshawn Lloyd, is coming back off an injury. I mean, he was coming back off an injury and then just had his appendix burst. But I think he's coming back this week. He might not. It's not official yet. It's still early in the week.
He just got taken off of the IR, so he's at practice.
So again, we're going to be going against some top level running back talent. They got a three-headed monster at wide receiver, and if Charvarius Ward comes back, Deommodore Lenoir and Renardo Green can kind of cover for the most part. The defensive line has to do their job and create pressure. Because if Jordan Love has time in the pocket, he's going to do Jordan Love things. He's going to throw for 350, 360 yards, 400 yards. I mean, it's going to happen if we can't produce the pressure up front. And I think for me, that's my biggest worry is without Nick Bosa, can our defensive line hold it down?
Yeah, Thomas, you pretty much said what I wanted to say. People say that when people think of the Green Bay offense, they think of all the wide receivers they have: Christian Watson, Aiden Reed, Romeo Dobbs. But people forget that Josh Jacobs is a pretty sneaky good running back signing for them this year. He had a pretty productive week last week, similar to CMC, where he caught 4 of 5 targets, 58 yards, rushed 18 times for 76. He could kind of do it all, like how we have CMC do it. So all to say, I agree. Like without Nick Bosa, man, the defense has to step up on all levels of the defense. So one thing we're going to obviously be keying on this Sunday.
Yeah, offensively, I think for us, we are going to be this is going to be the Packers' best defense that we've faced, I think, under Shanahan. So I want to see Christian McCaffrey utilized in the slot this week. I think that's going to be a thing on offense that I'm looking forward to. Is will Shanahan finally put McCaffrey in the slot and get carries to Mason and Garindo? It's just, to me, it's embarrassing. And I'm looking at the stats, and Ryan, you just said Josh Jacobs is having a great year, right? He's dangerous. Josh Jacobs has 838 yards rushing this year. Jordan Mason has 703. He really has been a non-factor the past month or 2 weeks since McCaffrey came back, and he was injured before that. So you're talking about most of that production coming in the first 7 games. And the guy got 2 carries last week, and I think 1 carry the week before. So for me, Shanahan has to look in the mirror the past 2 weeks, see that he's overusing McCaffrey. McCaffrey was on the field for 59 snaps in back-to-back games, coming off of an IR. And last year, he only did that 1 time, and that was against Baltimore. So you've already used him more in 2 games this year than you ever did last year coming off the injury. So get the guy out of the backfield, help preserve his legs, because you can tell he's still getting ramped up to the speed of the game. This is his preseason pretty much. So put him in the slot where it's less physical. He can kind of get his legs under him and feed the rock to Jordan Mason and Isaac Garindo. Like, Mason needs 8 to 10 touches running the ball this game. Garindo needs 4 to 6 touches running the ball this game. And then let McCaffrey have 10 to 12, 10 to 15. But we can't be doing these 20-touch games for McCaffrey. So offensively, I want to see a little versatility in that realm.
Offensively, I think we talked about it on the Niner Station podcast multiple times. I want to take away between the tackle running for Christian McCaffrey as much as we possibly can, because one, it's not effective. I think he's probably between the tackles, at least, this is a rough estimate, there's no stats in this. I think he's under 4 yards. He's at least 3 yards, maybe. A lot of those times he's getting 1 or 2. Mason between the tackles the entire season is over 4 yards. If we're just trying to move the ball, why is Mason not getting it? And I'm not talking about Mason's good runs. If you factor in his good runs, he's probably like 5.2 between the tackle. I mean, he doesn't do as well outside as McCaffrey does, but Mason is so much. I think what people don't realize is when Jordan Mason runs the ball, we're talking about a 125-pound running back running a 4.3. He's coming downhill. He's physical. What that does to the defense is every time a linebacker has to make that tackle, it's not an easy tackle. It's terrible. It's a terrible experience. I mean, you're basically hitting a person that's a little smaller than Derrick Henry, running faster than Derrick Henry. So the physics is probably as much pain on the body as it is to hit a person like, King Henry. And then you factor in a guy like Garindo. He's bigger than Mason. He's faster than Mason. He doesn't have the vision, but we don't need him to have the vision if we're talking about between the tackles. So I don't get why we don't move McCaffrey to the slot, run 2 running backs, create a defensive scheme mismatch, because all of a sudden now you have to put a DB on one of these 2 guys. And then Kyle Shanahan, all he has to do is react. He has to see what the defense does against that, call a pass play, call a pitch, call a screen. I mean, why can't we take a play out of Andy Reid's playbook and just run a screen all the time to someone that can gash the defense? But I don't know. I'm a hopeful for that Kyle Shanahan is maybe listening to us, and we could see an actual adjustment in the game coming up on Sunday, because it feels like it's too easy, right? I mean, Mark, you're an offensive coordinator type person, right? I mean, you have an offensive mind, I guess, is where I'm going with this. Tell me you wouldn't take our running backs, put both of them on the field, create a defensive mismatch, because you have to change your personnel if Christian McCaffrey is in the slot. You have to change your personnel if Jordan Mason and Garindo is in the backfield with Christian McCaffrey. Like, you can't run your base defense against that. It seems so simple. but we don't even do it once a game. Like, we've never done that. We've never combined 2 of our running backs on the field at the same time. And it seems so simple. Like, why not try it for one play? Why not try it on second down?
To me, why not have him all those like motion in the backfield, 2 running back looks where you would have Debo and then McCaffrey in the backfield, right? Or Debo and another running back in the backfield. Since Debo cannot do that anymore, let Debo line up in receiver and run routes, try to get open, and put McCaffrey in that Debo spot and have him run that orbit motion. Have him coming around on an end around where you're faking, dive up the middle with Mason, and then you have McCaffrey coming around the end around. The defense linebackers are going to be all eyes on McCaffrey coming around. It's going to open up holes after you gash him a couple of times. Now you pitch it to McCaffrey on that end around after they're starting to bite down on that dive. And those are creative things that I know Kyle Shanahan, his level of coaching, knows like this type of offense. He's not an idiot. I just don't know why it's not being utilized. So yeah, I agree. Like, you should be seeing 2 running back sets with McCaffrey and Mason, McCaffrey and Garindo, those types of pairings. And I think the Niners offense would be more explosive if they did that.
No, exactly, Mark. I mean, I feel like it's almost too simple. And you and I are talking about is, I'm thinking about it from a defensive scheme perspective. You're thinking about it from an offensive scheme perspective. Kyle Shanahan has coached and played way more football than either of us ever will in our entire lives. But for whatever reason, what seems simple to us as fans is never replicated on the field. But guys, we have a big matchup, must-win game against the Packers in Green Bay, playing at Lambeau. It's an exciting Sunday game, so thank you if you've listened this long. Again, please subscribe to our channel. We're going to continue to give you a different perspective than a media rep will, and we're going to sit here and tell you exactly how it is. But with this game, must win. Let's go Niners. Bang, bang.
Niner gang.
Niner gang.